facts you might not know. From the biggest flops to the greatest hits, this is Trash Can Tidbits.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Trash Can Tidbits. I'm your host for the week, Beaton. Your fun, cute raccoon host, ready to dish out some of my usual brand of weekly random trivia. Last week, I asked the question, which Japanese recording artist sang the theme songs for the Kingdom Hearts franchise? The answer is Utada Hikaru. Hikaru has released albums in both Japanese and English, and is fluent in both languages as well. She was already at the top of the Japanese pop charts in the early 2000s when Square approached her to sing the theme song Hikari for the first Kingdom Hearts game. With the success of that song, she sang Passion for the second game, and even got to collaborate with renowned EDM artist Skrillex for Kingdom Hearts 3 with the song Face My Fears. She remains one of the most influential pop artists in Japanese history. With that settled, let's get started with fact number 1, courtesy of my friend, Beastly Drohan. Did you know that Tom Hanks nearly came close to playing the live-action version of Mario for the live-action Super Mario Bros. Film? Tom Hanks was already in the lead to play Mario, but Nintendo got cold feet at the last minute because not only was he asking for a huge salary, around $5 million, he was at a point in his career where he was headlining box office bombs such as Joe vs. the Volcano and The Bonfire of the Vanities. They dropped Tom in favor of Bob Hoskins. This ended up working in Tom Hanks' favor, as he would go on to star in Philadelphia, which was his breakout performance that led to many more prolific roles like Forrest Gump. Both roles got him back-to-back Oscars for Best Actor. Fact 2. Did you know that it's been confirmed that Deadpool's girlfriend in the movies is actually a mutant? In the comics, Vanessa, Deadpool's girlfriend, who appears in the first and second films, goes by the mutant name Copycat, and is a shapeshifter similar to Mystique from the X-Men. She ends up not having any mutant or shapeshifting powers in the movies, but she does have a throwaway line in the first film that alludes to this. When she meets Wade Wilson for the first time, she says that she has had many faces. Fact 3. Did you know that the Simpsons movie had been in the early stages of planning since the late 90s? It started in 1997 when Fox registered the internet domain simpsonsmovie.com, and it ended up taking 10 years to make from inception to release. The film was kept such a secret that even the voice actors didn't know about it until it was greenlit. Some reasons for the delay include different writers, character changes, technology, and story rewrites, among others. Even to avoid spoilers, the scripts were shredded after every voice session. Fact 4. Did you know that Hey You Pikachu for the N64 isn't the only game that makes use of the voice recognition unit that came with the game? For years, the game's microphone peripheral was only used with the game where you can talk with Pikachu. But some voice commands from the Japanese version of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask still exist within the game's code. The commands are only readable in Japanese and include things like checking how much time the player has before the in-game clock reaches 0, or even waking up Deku Scrubs. Fact 5. Did you know that Darkstalkers character John Talbane has his westernized name taken from a character in an American-made werewolf film? In Japanese, the badass martial arts fighting werewolf is named Galon. But since one main inspiration for the game's roster comes from classic horror movie monsters, the producers at Capcom gave him an interesting namesake. Galon's Americanized name, John Talbane, is a reference to the character Sir John Talbot, played by Claude Rains in The Wolfman, the father of the main character who becomes a werewolf, Larry Talbot. Fact 6. Did you know that the designs of several characters in the film Aquaman are reflective of the Aquaman character's visual history? The character's earlier classic appearances in the comics are similar to the character Orm, Aquaman's brother, where he was Caucasian, blonde, and clean-shaven. In the 1990s, the character became more muscular, shirtless, and sported a beard, which is how Jason Momoa looks in the film in a lot of scenes. Even the classic costume of gold and green with a green cape and crown was based on Aquaman's costume in the Alex Ross graphic novel Kingdom Come. Today, thanks to the success of the film and Jason Momoa's portrayal, the Aquaman character now has Polynesian heritage. Fact 7. Did you know that Carrie Fisher's complaints of Princess Leia's restrictive costumes in the Star Wars films led her to wear the classic gold bikini in Return of the Jedi? Once production of Return of the Jedi began, Fisher had a talk with George Lucas and complained that her costumes were so constrictive, some people couldn't tell she was a woman. To which Lucas said that he did that deliberately so that she wouldn't be coveted by horny boys and be taken seriously as a leader. Carrie Fisher thanked Lucas for the strong portrayal, but still complained, which led Lucas to write Leia as Jabba the Hutt's slave, complete with a skimpy costume befitting of a scantily clad princess in Conan the Barbarian. I'm sure Fisher was thinking throughout the entire thing, "This is more woman than I wanted." It's such a shame though, because she would never look that hot ever again. Fact 8 comes again from Beastly Drohan. Did you know that a line cut from the animated version of Beauty and the Beast wound up in the remake? In the original, Belle had a line she told to the prince that went like this: "Would you mind growing a beard?" The line was cut for the adult implications it offered, so Chip gets the final line in the film. In the 2017 remake, Belle manages to say that line, followed up by a suggestive growl from the Beast. The remake's more mature take on the source material allowed them to sneak that final line in. Hey, thanks for that fact, Rohan. It's kind of fun to think that Belle would like the Beast's original form much better. I mean, who can blame her? I hope that magic spell comes with the option for him to transform at will, if you know what I mean. Fact 9. Did you know that two acting legends of Disney royalty share two distinct roles between them each? Dame Angela Lansbury and Dame Emma Thompson have each starred in several Disney films individually, but they actually share a stage role too. Angela played Mrs. Potts in the original Beauty and the Beast, and Emma played Mrs. Potts in the live-action remake. Not to mention, one of Lansbury's most famous stage roles is that of Mrs. Lovett in the original Broadway cast of Sweeney Todd. Emma Thompson got to play Mrs. Lovett in the Lincoln Center stage concert of Sweeney Todd with the New York Philharmonic Orchestra in New York City in 2014. Now we just need them to do a project together and everything will be perfect. Fact 10. Did you know that the vehicles in the original 101 Dalmatians were actual working models that were filmed? One interesting fact about the making of Dalmatians was that it was animated with the then new Xerox process, which meant animation drawings were copied onto animation cells. They discovered they could do the same with live-action footage, so vehicles like Cruella's car were actually built out of cardboard, filmed, and then each frame was scanned on the Xerox machine onto an animation cell. If you look closely in some shots of a vehicle in the film, you'll even see little figures of the characters inside. Even Horace and Jasper's truck had little springs inside it to give it a putt-putt bouncing movement. That just goes to show that even though Disney cut costs with the animation, the company was still able to put a lot of life in those drawings. And here's this week's trivia question. Now, The X-Files remains one of the most popular shows ever made, due in no small part to the amazing chemistry between its main stars, David Duchovny as Agent Fox Mulder and Gillian Anderson as Agent Dana Scully. Each episode involves the iconic duo investigating a crime or a situation that allegedly involves the supernatural or the paranormal. What's interesting about this, though, is the way the characters are written. Mulder is the believer in the paranormal, while Scully is the skeptic. My question to you is, true or false? In real life, David Duchovny is the skeptic and Gillian Anderson is the believer. And there we go for this week. I hope you all enjoyed this list, and special thanks again to Beastly Drohan for submitting some more neat tidbits. Please keep them coming. Hey, we're getting closer to my 100th episode. What do you think I got planned for the big occasion? Stay tuned to find out. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell for any future video notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.